Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Put a hand up if you feel alive. Put a hand up if you feel alive. Put a hand up if you feel the vibe, yo. Keep 'em up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Keep 'em up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Keep 'em up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see what we can do. Cause ain't nobody gon' give it to you like this. Like this. Like this. Wait till you see what we can do. Cause ain't nobody gon' give it to you like this. Like this. Like. Wait a minute, yo. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.
Welcome to the project team. Let's get started.
Today, we've got a very exciting topic to discuss, which is Gemini and NotebookLM, as well as AI in Google Workspace. I'm Donovan McGregor from Deimos, and I'll be kicking things off before handing over to our friends from Google. Here's what we've got lined up for you today. First, I'll give you a quick intro to Google Workspace and share how companies across Africa get the very best out of it. Then you'll hear from Leon van Rooyen at Google, who will walk you through Gemini and NotebookLM. Two powerful AI tools built right into Google Workspace. After that, Nick will show you some live demos so you can see the tools in action. And finally, we'll wrap up with your questions. So while we have the presentation, please click on the 3 dots after the 9 dots at the bottom right and click on the Q&A section and just post your questions in there, and we'll get back to you at the end of the webinar. The goal today is simple: to give you practical, real-world ways to work smarter, faster, and more securely, all with the help of AI. Before we jump into the hands-on stuff, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. AI isn't just another tech upgrade. It's fast becoming the engine behind how modern businesses run. It's taking the boring, repetitive work off our plates, turning piles of data into clear, useful insights, and helping teams work together in smarter, faster ways. And here's the thing: the companies that have started using AI already, they're already seeing the wins. Quicker decisions, smoother processes, and cost savings that really add up. The catch is, those benefits don't stand still. They build, which means the longer you wait to adopt AI, the further you fall behind the people who are already using it in everyday's use. That's why this session is important, because we're going to show you exactly how AI inside Google Workspace can give your team the edge, starting now. Now that we've talked about why AI is such a big deal, let me tell you a bit about Deimos and why so many companies choose Deimos as their Google partner. We're a hybrid and multi-cloud service company, which basically means we help businesses run better in the cloud, whether that's moving your data, tightening up security, managing Kubernetes, or even getting you set up with AI. We work with all the big cloud providers, but one of our closest relationships is Google. We're a certified Google Workspace and Google Cloud partner, serving clients across Africa with offices in South Africa, Nigeria, and the UK. Our job is to make your workspace journey smooth, secure, and cost-effective, especially here in Africa where we understand the local challenges. So how do we do that? First, we take the pain out of payments. Google charges in USD, but we know how tricky that is in Africa. With us, you choose your currency, including African currencies such as rands, naira, Kenyan shillings, to name a few. And we'll handle the conversion. We even front the payment and give you 25 days to settle. Your finance team will definitely thank you for that one. Second, we make the switch painless. We handle your onboarding and migration end-to-end, no data loss, no downtime. And because our engineers are local, they understand the realities of your environment. Third, we get you AI ready from day one. That means that all the latest Google tools, including Gemini, are switched on and ready to go immediately at no extra cost. So whether you're setting up Google Workspace for the first time or looking to unlock more value from it, we're here to make sure you get the very best out of it. So what makes Google Workspace so powerful for day-to-day work? It's all about working smarter and working together. With Google Workspace, your whole team can jump into the same document at the same time. No more back and forth sending of files and folders, version confusion, or endless mail threads. You see changes as they happen, chat as you go, and even collaborate during video calls. It's like being in the same room, even if you are continents apart. And here's the best part. No need to install lots of programs on your computer. It just works. Fast, smooth, and from anywhere. Whether you're on your laptop, phone, or tablet, your files are always up to date and always saved automatically. That means no more lost work, ever. At Deimos, security is non-negotiable. We're proud to say that none of our clients' projects have ever been hacked, and we plan to keep it that way. One of the reasons we partner so closely with Google Workspace is because it shares the same philosophy as Deimos. Security comes first, not as an afterthought. Let's start with the inbox. With Google Workspace, every email, especially ones with attachments, is scanned in a secure environment before it ever reaches you. Think of it like a high-security mailroom. If Google spots anything suspicious, viruses, dodgy links, phishing attempts, it sends it straight to spam. You're protected before you even see it. Security isn't just about blocking bad emails. It's also about preventing accidental leaks. With Google Workspace, you get powerful data loss prevention tools. You can set simple rules like if someone tries to send an ID document or bank document details outside the company, it gets blocked. It's a straightforward way to prevent mistakes and stay compliant with privacy laws like POPIA here in South Africa. Security doesn't stop at the login screen. With Google Workspace, access is controlled based on more than just a password. It checks who you are, where you are, what device you're using, and even what time it is. So if someone tries logging in from an untrusted location or a device without security updates, access will be denied. Quick show of hands, or should I say, give me a thumbs up. How many of you have to remember more than 5 passwords just to do your job? Yep, it's frustrating, inefficient, and honestly not very secure. Here's the fix from Google Workspace. Single sign-on. With Google Workspace, you log in once and you're in. From Gmail to your CRM to your HR system, it's all connected. No juggling logins, no forgetting passwords, just a smoother, safer start to your day. For the IT teams on the call, here's a feature you'll love. Workspace lets you test security rules or new features in a sandbox, a safe environment where nothing can go wrong. So you can try it, tweak it, perfect it, and only then roll it out company-wide. No disruptions and no surprises. So to wrap this up, when you choose Google Workspace with Deimos, you're getting more than a productivity tool. You're getting a secure, fully supported, future-ready platform built for the way African businesses actually operate. From flexible local pricing to always-on security to seamless collaboration. And of course, built-in AI tools, it's everything you need to help your team do the best work every day. And this is just the beginning. Google is investing heavily in AI, and those advances are already appearing in Workspace. With that, I'm going to hand over to Leon, who will walk you through how AI is transforming the way teams work. Over to you, Leon.
Good morning, everybody. Apologies about the camera. I'll restart my machine as soon as I'm done with my section. I'm having some technical difficulties. Thank you very, very much for that, Donovan. We are in the midst of a technology super cycle. What we're experiencing right now is unprecedented. AI isn't just another technology trend. It's fundamentally transforming how businesses operate, compete, and win. In the past year, productivity suites have evolved dramatically, with AI integration becoming the norm. But at Google, we've pushed innovation even further. It's undeniable, and there are a number of inevitable forces in play that are driving this. The first is AI. It's no longer something that's on the horizon or something that to think about in the future. It has arrived. The moment is here, and the moment is now. Of this moment, businesses are held back and deeply constrained by the capabilities of their incumbent and legacy systems, not to mention the technical debt and complexity that these systems have created over the years. The system architectures that companies have stuck with for decades are simply not up to the challenge of AI. And this is why their struggle is very, very real. At the same time, as highlighted by so many recent high-profile incidents, the recent UK retailers cybersecurity issues that came up. Security is now a non-negotiable. And again, the legacy tools and approaches of the past are just not up to the task of dealing with these increasingly more sophisticated attacks. Finally, when we see the tangible productivity and value that is possible in this era of new ways of working, the tools customers provide their employees go from mere operational necessities to becoming key drivers of significant competitive advantages. We're in a moment where the productivity platform you choose will directly determine your ability to compete and thrive in this new era. So it's understood that AI is a game changer. So what is holding everybody back? When I speak with leaders from our prospects and our customers, they all see the potential, but feel that the journey they need to go on is challenging, expensive, very murky or unclear, and of course, risky. For many, AI exists as an expensive add-on, and the market is flooded with point solutions, each creating more risk and uncertainty around the data that it accesses and the securities around that. And of course, you never know what new vulnerabilities these tools could introduce into your organization. These aren't just perceptions. They are real barriers to the wider adoption of productivity AI. As this research shows from PwC, many enterprises are still a long way from unlocking the full potential of productivity gains through AI, with many still having to choose who does and who doesn't get access to those expensive add-ons. Google Workspace isn't just a standalone application. It's on the top tier of a complete, natively integrated technology stack designed for the AI era. It all starts with our secure foundation, of course, and this is the same security that keeps billions of users safe online every day. The foundation supports our AI-ready infrastructure designed for the demands of AI. And on top of that are our data analytics and world-leading AI platforms and the agents born from, let's face it, decades of Google's AI leadership and the innovation in this space. And right at the top sits Google Workspace, utilizing all of these features and security solutions. As you can see here, we have the best compliance record in the industry versus the other hyperscalers. So how do we overcome this? The answer lies in challenging the status quo. And you need to ask yourself some questions. What if AI wasn't an expensive add-on? What if everything you need was simply seamlessly built into all the tools everybody uses? What if it was secure, scalable, and reliable? And this is how we at Google are changing the game. Transform with AI that is included in your solution. It's no longer an expensive add-on. Modernize by eliminating disjointed, siloed legacy systems, so it's no longer confusing. And defend by building a differentiated and future-ready, secure by design architecture that eliminates quite a lot of risk. Collectively, the result is time and resources are reclaimed by you to enable you to focus on the stuff that really matters. and that is innovation and growth. I think this sentence sums up Google Workspace best. A single, open, pure cloud platform that is delivered securely via our managed web browser. And as you can see here, all of our workspace solutions and applications are built into Google Workspace and Chrome natively. None of these are add-ons. Before we look at some of our more recent innovations and three of our core pillars, it's also important to remember that AI within Google Workspace is nothing new. We've been delivering a constant stream of AI innovation for over a decade. Of the three pillars, one of the first pillars that I would like to just briefly touch on is how we are transforming work with AI. This is about empowering everyone to achieve more in less time, develop new skills, and provide a fully integrated AI that is an always-on, contextual collaboration assistant, skilled in whatever task and topic you are working on. And as you will see, the full power of Gemini is delivered within Google Workspace, including our solutions like NotebookLM, the Gemini app, deep research, and of course, let's not forget Google Vids. Everybody loves playing around with Google Vids at the moment. Secondly, we also tackle the problem of modernizing IT head on. We directly address the ever-growing tool sprawl by breaking down legacy silos with a single cloud-native platform that creates a more seamless way of working. And probably one of the other key pillars is security. We provide modern threat defense by embedding zero trust controls directly into our platform to protect your data and your people. Our security is built in and not bolted on. Let's just quickly cover the Gemini app, which is our secure multimodal chatbot, which very, very importantly resides within your Google Workspace trust boundary, ensuring it is safe to use with your data and stops your users from turning to consumer tools, which will not necessarily protect your data. Building on the Gemini multimodal app, let's touch on the idea of focused Gen AI. NotebookLM lets you ground your Gen AI interactions in the data that matters most to you. It's an AI research assistant that works exclusively with the provided content that you provide, that you trust. It enables you to instantly analyze, synthesize, and extract insights from your organization's documents and data. We used to take hours of reading and analysis, can now be done in minutes. But it's not just about the speed, it's about unlocking deeper understanding and better decision-making across your organization. Some of the features that we can touch on for NotebookLM is the fact that you can add your own numerous sources of information, anything from PDFs to documents to websites to even YouTube videos. You can ask it questions about content, or you can ask NotebookLM to generate new content based on the sources that you provide. And importantly, it will provide citations that trace back to the relevant original passages in those sources, allowing you to go back and to confirm the validity of that. Some of these functions, Nick will be demonstrating a little later for us. But how do we see the value chain of our generative AI solutions? Well, it all starts with productivity gains, which increases the quality of work being produced. This, of course, leads to positive employee engagement, which in turn leads to better customer engagement and satisfaction. And all of these steps combined, well, they lead to unlocking innovation. So when our customers ask, why Workspace, it essentially comes down to these 5 points. AI that is integrated and included for all. We democratize AI. A lot of our competitors just sell it as an expensive add-on. Our first-party infrastructure and large language model technology. We own the entire stack, from the custom Google Silicon to the models. And this gives us an insurmountable advantage in performance, efficiency, and also the pace of innovation. Remember the slide that I showed you earlier with all of the innovations that we've been doing since effectively early 2000s? Those are just increasing rapidly, month by month. Security. We utilize enterprise-grade security by design. Our security is foundational. Remember the tower that I showed earlier? Workspace was born in the cloud. It was designed there. It's not a legacy architecture that effectively got retrofitted to operate in the cloud. And then innovation with the tools people love. Most of us have a Gmail account. Most of us have been using Chrome for however long. And we deliver cutting-edge technology inside this intuitive experience that over 3 billion users already know and prefer. It's a future-proof partnership with the innovator. Choosing us means choosing a company that is and will continue to be the primary engine of the AI revolution. Thank you very, very much. Nick, if you would be so kind as to showcase some of these fantastical things that we just discussed, that would be amazing. I'm quickly going to restart my computer to get my camera operational. Sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you very much, Leon. Appreciate that. And thank you to Donovan and Liza as well. Donovan, you can stop screen sharing from your side. I'm going to take over the presentation and just share a video on, a window on my side. And then I will start showing you guys some of these exciting tools. So first of all, where I want to jump into is just kind of some of the things I'm not going to focus on in the demo today, but I just want to touch on it to let you guys know all the different products within Google where they've baked in their AI tools. So if I zoom in ever so slightly, so we're looking at Google Drive. This is the document storage space within Google Workspace. Many of you would know that already. And I've got the side panel in here. So this is how I call on the AI tool within Google Drive. It can do a whole bunch of things. If you want to learn what you can do in Google Drive with Gemini, you can just click on this first prompt and ask the AI, what are you capable of doing within Google Drive? And it will quickly respond with what it's capable of doing. So summarizing documents and folders, discussing different topics, retrieving quick facts, move and create files and folders, analyze images, create images and tables. It can do a whole bunch of things. And this is basically Google's underlying model, the Gemini model, but it's fine-tuned for files and folders and documents, etc. In the same way that you have got the same Gemini tool built into Gmail, but it's fine-tuned for understanding the context of the email and helping you write responses to emails and polishing your responses and formalizing your responses, etc. Then within Google Docs, Again, you've got the same Gemini AI tool, but it's fine-tuned for document-based artificial intelligence. You can generate a variety of different documents. So whether you want a onboarding guide or a template for a 15-minute daily stand-up or a newsletter template, you can ask the AI to help you generate that, or simply help you write a particular document or a particular article that you're interested in. And let me just refresh this, and then it'll bring that interface back. I can also go with meeting notes. So as I'm hovering over this, and let me zoom in slightly more for you guys. As I'm hovering over this, it's kind of preparing my document with meeting note type aspects. Let me refresh that once more. As you can see there, it drops in a date. I can choose a particular calendar invite. So this is integrated with my Google Calendar. I can simply choose which calendar invite I'm generating meeting notes for. And then when I do choose this meeting note template, and I've chosen a calendar invite, it's then also going to ask me, would I like to link this meeting note document to the calendar invitation? And you'll see this common theme throughout today's demo, where a lot of Google's tools, or all of Google's tools really, it's just integrated across the platform. It's not standalone tools like Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Drive. It's all integrated horizontally across the board. So again, I'm not going to spend too much time here. I really want to get to these two tools, Gemini and NotebookLM, which Leon also touched on towards the end of it. On the slideshow presentations, again, I can call on the Gemini app, the side panel, and then I can do a whole bunch of stuff within Google Slides, generate images, generate slides. There's also Google Vids. And I would implore all of you, go and play around with these tools, see how intuitive it is, see how easy it is to use, and get started with Google's AI tools that they've baked in across the board into all of their products. And then, so what I am going to focus on is just collapse all of that. What I am going to focus on is the Gemini app, also called Gemini Advanced. Let's just create a new chat here. So we sit with a bit of a cleaner interface. And then I'm also going to touch on NotebookLM, where a whole different bunch of magic is baked into this AI tool. So a lot of you would be familiar with ChatGPT. Was a lot of people's first experience with a AI tool built into kind of like a website application that you can use. What we're looking at here is Google's version of it. This is included in all versions of Google Workspace. Doesn't matter if you're on Business Starter or the highest SKU Enterprise Plus, you have access to this, as well as NotebookLM. You can choose between different models. So if you're, the default model that most people use is 2.5 Pro. This is good for reasoning, maths, code, all sorts of daily tasks. It takes a couple of seconds, it does some reasoning, and then it generates the response. I'll obviously show you guys how that works. If you're interested in just very quick responses, you can switch to the Flash model. That generates a much quicker, shorter prompt response. But today we'll be playing around with the Pro model. And then you can also have chats. We'll touch on gems. This is kind of where you really power up your capability on what you're able to do within the Gemini app. And then you can see there's a whole bunch of recent conversations that I've had, different chats that I've started with the Gemini tool. And then from a multimodal perspective, like what capabilities does the Gemini app have? Can I just have conversations, or can it do so much more? Like, can it generate videos with VO? Yes, it can. Deep research, which we'll jump into, that's also very exciting stuff. Canvas, where you can ask it to generate all sorts of things like documents, websites, infographics, and then you can also do image generation with imaging. And maybe 3 to 6 months ago, half of this wasn't here. Then deep research appeared. Then videos with VO appeared, then Canvas appeared, images with imaging. So Google just continually builds on top of their tool set and releases features at a scale that honestly other people struggle to keep pace with. Google is very quick to roll out new features to the platform. So let's maybe just start with a basic prompt. Let's just see it in action. So draft a basic IT strategy roadmap for a mid-sized company. I've got a couple of prompts that I've pre-prepared, so you guys don't have to watch me struggle typing in a demo. So I'm just asking it to draft a basic IT strategy roadmap for a mid-sized company over the next 12 months. So it's doing some thinking. It can also show you the thinking, which is quite interesting. So it shows you kind of how it's reasoning with itself, and then it's going to generate that response for us and give us a few options alongside it. So of course, here's a basic IT roadmap for a mid-sized company. Roadmap is designed as a strategic guide focusing on foundational blah, 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 guiding principles. So security first. Every decision must prioritize the security integrity of the company, the data, and the systems. Cloud smart, user-centric, data-driven. So this is not a bad response. This is probably a good starting template to get you going. So you don't have to kind of start that initial first draft that takes you a couple of hours or a couple of days, depending on how much you procrastinate. So your 12-month roadmap, it's divided it up into quarters, which I think is quite smart. So the first 3 months, foundation and assessment. So focusing on the infrastructure, cybersecurity, the business applications, IT operations and governance. And then in the second quarter, for the next 3 months, quick wins and planning after you've done your initial assessment. And then again, it kind of divides it up into those various aspects of the business. And then in the third quarter, you're going to do some implementation and modernization after the quick wins. And then in the final quarter, some optimizations and some future planning. And then, okay, so it's prompting us to use Canvas. I'll do that shortly. But what I can also do is I can now share this and export this. I can export this to Google Docs quite easily. I can just create a draft email with this response from Gemini as well. So a lot of those functionalities just built in there. If I click Open Docs, now it's put all of that information in a Google Doc for me, and I'm ready to kind of do the second version of this draft. First of all, verify all the veracity of the information in this report, go through it, make some edits, maybe add some more information to it, or customize it for a particular customer. And then I can share this internally, use Google Docs in the way that you normally would. I'm just going to close that down. I can also refine my prompt, and then I can ask it to be a little bit more specific. But what I really want to move on to is the deep research side of things. This is where it kind of powers up quite a few levels. So I'm going to select deep research. It's telling me it's going to start a separate chat, which is fine. And now I'm just going to ask it the same question, but in a deep research mode. And what this is going to do is it's going to throw an enormous amount of compute power at this question and do some really deep research and go down the rabbit hole in terms of the same basic question that I've asked. Towards the end of this demo, I can show you guys the results of this particular deep research, but I have prepared another one that we'll take a look at. So when you're doing deep research, the first thing that it tells you is that it comes up with a research plan. And this is the entire research plan that it's come up with. So it will research the fundamental components, the standard structure of an IT strategic roadmap. It will find the common methodologies. It will investigate the best practices, identify key IT initiatives. So it's going to do a whole bunch of things. It hasn't done anything yet. It's going to then analyze the results of what it's done. And then it's going to create a report for me. And this is going to take a few minutes. And the definition of few in this context is it's not one or two. This is going to take quite a few minutes. This is Google throwing a tremendous amount of compute power at this query. I can go ahead and edit the plan. I can include my own bullet points of what I'd like it to do additional. I can take out some of the things that I don't want it to do, but I'm just going, in this case, going to say start the research. So now I'm instructing it to actually start doing the research. And now it's going through that plan that it's put together, and it's busy doing all of the research. I can show the thinking, the sites browsed. So it's found a bunch of initial websites that it's going to go through. So Gartner, Medium articles, government websites. So all kind of the big players in the space based on the question that I'm asking it. Understanding the IT roadmap and the essentials, key steps and components identified. It's now researching additional websites that it's looking for information while it's going through this research plan. And this is going to take probably another 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm not going to waffle on while we wait for this for 5 to 10 minutes, but we are going to come back to this and then look at the results of this. And this is quite impressive. What I do want to do is I want to jump into gems. And this is kind of going a layer deeper into the Gemini app. So when I start a new chat and I want to ask it a question like draft a basic IT strategic roadmap for a mid-sized company over the next 12 months, perhaps what I need to do, because we've all learned how I need to prompt these AI tools. I need to tell it what to do. I need to tell it how to respond. I need to tell it the type of person that I am and the role that I'm playing within the company to kind of guide it to the right type of response that I'm looking at. So I need to kind of over-engineer my prompt just so that I can ask it a plain simple question and it has all of that context. So I can do that within a regular chat and over-engineer my prompt and have that conversation. Or what I can do is I can create a gem. And a gem is where I create a particular persona. As in this case, I've created a Deimos demo CISO persona. I also have a Google Sheets expert. I'm supposed to be a Google Sheets expert. I have a Looker Studio expert. I have Danny Crane. I've got a legal expert. A lot of these are just demos that I've done in the past. But this is how you create a particular gem. And then instead of asking the Gemini chat the question where I have to over-engineer my prompt, I will go to the particular gem and ask it the question. And looking at more of these examples, so you can be an HR manager, a retail expert, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So you want to create a new gem. And then first of all, you want to give it a name. So let's just call this test Deimos demo gem. And then you want to give it a set of instructions. And this is now where you take the over-engineered prompt and you take some of that and you put it in the instructions of this gem. You're telling this gem what its purpose is, what its job role is, what you expect from this gem. And you can also root this in particular knowledge base where you're kind of grounding it in a particular set of knowledge that it must refer back to, or particular templates that you'd like it to use. So you can see here, you can add up to 10 files for your gems, and it would reference those files and make sure that it's grounded in that particular knowledge. So from an instructional perspective, let me just grab that pre-prepared instruction. So it's a short instruction. It's not too much. You are a chief information security officer for a mid-sized company in the financial sector. You balance technical IT strategy with executive level communication. So this is kind of a very basic prompt or a very basic instruction for your gem. Maybe you want to flesh this out a little bit more. It should be a lot more than this. So you can use AI to write the instructions for your AI gem. So I'm just going to say, like, just rewrite these instructions. Of course, the demo gods would say unable to rewrite. So I'm just going to refresh this tab, and then it should work. So let's give it a name. Deimos demo gem. Copy paste those instructions, and let's ask it to rewrite those instructions. Let me just give it one more sentence. So let's try this now. Okay, third time's a charm. There we go. So what I've copy pasted into it was just the first initial sentence, and then I said you always include cybersecurity consideration, vendor management, risk scoring, and compliance requirements. But now that I've rewritten those instructions with Gemini, it has now really fleshed out this particular gem. So the purpose and the goals, and it's kind of organized it a lot more as well. The purpose and the goals of this gem is to act as a particular persona. What you're doing is you're balancing technical IT strategy with clear executive level communication, provide comprehensive advice on cybersecurity, deliver actionable recommendations in a roadmap format, clear milestones, use business-orientated languages. It also has some rules and behaviors. Initial interaction, begin each interaction by identifying yourself as CISO, ask the user to describe their specific security challenge or goal, frame the response in terms of business impact and risk. Information delivery. For every response, include considerations for 4 key areas: cybersecurity, technical strategy, vendor management, risk scoring, compliance requirement. So it's really fleshed out this. So this is now a much much better informed gem in terms of what I expect from this when I prompt it with a particular question. It also has some communication style, use a professional, authoritative, and confident tone. Let me put in here, I am a huge fan of bullet points. Communicate complex, security complex, overall tone, strategic, forward-looking, confident and knowledgeable, focus on business outcomes and risk mitigations. So this is now a properly formatted gem. Now I can start prompting this. So once more, Deimos, demo, gem, and let's save that gem. And now I can start the conversation with this gem. So now if I'm asking it the same question, it has so much more context in terms of what I'm expecting from it. So draft a basic IT strategic roadmap. We've seen this question twice before now. So now I'm asking not just the general Gemini AI model the question in a normal chat without the context that I've just instructed in my gem. Now I'm asking the gem the same question, and I should get a much more comprehensive response that is much more targeted at what I was expecting it to do. And you can see the results of that. And it's still busy generating it. So a much more comprehensive response. And this is how we see a lot of people using AI tools these days. It's not just having a simple chatbot and asking questions and having a conversation with a chatbot. It's using things like gems or agents, and Google has that as well. We'll maybe touch on it at the end. I'll mention it, but it's not going to form part of the demo. But you can fully customize this and integrate it into your own on-prem environment or your own cloud environment as well. So from a GEMS perspective, that's really kind of the next level you want to move to and start exploring. You don't just want to use the chat feature. Although it's great, you can generate images and videos. You really want to kind of move forward and start using gems, because that's how you get the true power out of this, is by having your gems and fine-tuning your gems. A feature that Google is soon going to release within Gemini is to also be able to share your gems amongst team members. Because if you work together in a team and maybe you're in the retail space and you've got a particular gem that is so well crafted that it's giving you really good responses, you want to share this with your team so that you get more use out of this gem, and they can all share in that gem that you've crafted for your particular job role. Let's maybe head back and have a look at the deep research. And if that's not done yet, then I can always go to the pre-prepared one. Okay, so the deep research is done. What was the question we asked? Okay, so we're just playing around with the same question. It's told us what it's going to do. It's now done that, and it's completed it for us. So you can see it's kind of popped up on the right-hand side here. And this is a very comprehensive response. I also have the option to export this to Google Docs or just copy the contents. I can go ahead and create an infographic or a web page, which we'll do. So now you have got a very comprehensive report that Google has created for you. Let's go and export this to Google Docs in the meantime, but let's just go back to this. So I've got the heading of my report: strategic, imperative, aligning technology with business vision, the roadmap as evidence of strategy. And you'll also see that it's got these citations here on where it's actually found that information. It didn't just hallucinate a 3,000-page report for us. It's actually citing where it found that information for us. And this is what is also really powerful about Gemini, is the way that it's grounded in knowledge and sources that you've given it. And it would also ground itself and point to or cite the websites that it's used for that information. The high cost of misalignments, defining the 3 tiers of IT value, and you can see the comprehensive nature of this report. It's also done some tables for me that I can export to Google Sheets as well and take a look at that information. But yeah, this is a very, very comprehensive report. Some more tables, more reports, more citations. Everywhere you can see citations, which just gives you a lot more confidence in using this type of a tool. Okay. And then it also tells you the sources that it used in generating this report. So those are all the websites that it ended up citing. So very, very comprehensive, scarily comprehensive. What I also want to do is just create a infographic. Let's give that a chance as well. So now what I'm saying is take this report and distill it down to an infographic for me. And it's now going to go and try and kind of ingest the report and generate the HTML code that I can post on my website or a blog, whatever the case might be, add to it, and then it's going to give me a preview of that as well. And you can also have a bit of a back and forth with this tool in terms of what you want the infographic to look like or alterations you want it to make, swap some things around, perhaps make it a little bit more interactive, but it's now busy going through and generating all the HTML code for this. We'll just give it another second. Looking at the Google Doc. So it's just taken the whole report and exported it into a Google Doc for me. This is only 25 pages long, and it's got my tables in it as well. This is very, very impressive. And then it ends with the citations once again. Things that you actually want, especially when you're looking at 25 pages of information AI tool generated, you really want those citations and where it got that information from. So now switching back to Gemini Advanced or the Gemini app, we can see that I can still look at the code and I can go ahead and edit the code if I wish. But just looking at the preview, this is now what it's generated for me. A fairly impressive website with all the information kind of distilled in a one-page website with everything there for me. I don't know if you can call a slide bar interactive, but you can have interactive elements on this. So you can see here, I've got a little chart. As I hover over it, it actually gives me some of the information as a pop-up. I can also add Gemini features to this infographic. So I can add a Gemini chatbot to this infographic as well. Very, very impressive. Yeah, I would call this interactive light, perhaps. There's another infographic that I also prepared. So if we look here, this is the GEM roadmap, deep research, canvas. So if all that you're after is just the infographic, you can also just go straight to canvas, which is one of your multimodal options down here. You can prompt it, and then it can generate something similar for you. So now I can click through this. It's almost like a website. Very, very little difference between the two. So you can see everything that this has built for me. You can go back to the HTML code, give it an edit if you love working with HTML code. I'm not one of those people. And then you can customize this for yourself as well. And there's the homepage. So that's kind of Gemini in a nutshell. I want to move on to NotebookLM, which is another thing that Leon touched on. And although it uses the same AI model underneath the hood, it's fine-tuned for a completely different purpose. And here, let's perhaps just take a look at this demo that I have prepared. And I'm going to need to scroll in a little bit for you guys. So everyone should now be able to see that a little bit more clearly. NotebookLM is not really, so let me just create a new notebook. The first thing it asks you to do is to upload your sources. And even if I don't, I can still go and add my sources here. And I can add up to 300. Where does it say that? Here we go. I can add up to 300 different sources of information to this particular notebook. And think of it as like starting a document or kind of a separate space where you're about to do a deep dive on a particular topic. Up to 300 sources. And what can those sources be? As Leon mentioned, it can be websites, it can be YouTube videos, it can be Google Docs, Google Slides, text files, PDFs, audio files, all sorts of different types of sources you can upload to your notebook. Those sources would then appear here. And this NotebookLM is about doing a deep dive on your sources. So unlike with Gemini, I would go to Gemini and ask it random questions, or ask it specific questions, or ask it to go get me knowledge and help me generate a report or an infographic or something. NotebookLM, I'm not going to come to NotebookLM and ask it a general question. I'm going to come to NotebookLM, upload my sources, and ask it questions about my sources. I need to do a deep dive on a particular topic. So if we take a look at this Old Mutual AI sales strategy, in the previous demo, I used this company as an example. I did a deep research on what is this company's AI strategy, and NotebookLM generated a very thorough report for me. Sorry, not NotebookLM, Gemini generated a very thorough report for me on the deep research. I then exported that and uploaded it as a source in NotebookLM. And now I want to do a deep dive on this, 25, 30-page report that it generated for me. And within NotebookLM, I've got a couple of different options. I can generate an audio overview. I can generate a video overview. This is brand new. This is not even a month old. I can generate a mind map. All sorts of different reports that I can generate, a briefing document, a study guide, a FAQ, a timeline. And here are all of those types of documents that I've pre-prepared. I'm first going to jump into the one that I enjoy the most. So the mind map. So this as my source, I can jump into the mind map. And if we just go down to the base, so this is my old mutual AI strategy source that I want to do a deep dive on. What is inside of this? Let's break this down into the main topics. So it has an introduction and executive summary, okay, and then it's got 4 different parts to it: the strategic landscape, identifying and engaging target departments, crafting the value proposition, actionable recommendations for engagements. What does the executive summary say? So pivotal strategic inflection point, ambition, AI-led insurance organization, requires nuanced partnership proposal, new generation leadership shaping strategy. I can dive into that topic a little bit more. Okay, so there appears to be a group CEO, Yuri Strydom, and the group CIO, May Govender. Okay, let's maybe jump out of that and just go straight down to actionable recommendations for engagement. What do they say? Section 9, multi-pronged engagement strategy. That gets broken down into more topics. So this is a very nice way of, first of all, just getting that 50,000-foot view on this particular document and what's in it and how to explore it. So I can just collapse that and go back to Studio. And then, or maybe let me just show you, if I do go into the mind map and I've found the part that I want to look at, if I'm clicking on it, if I'm not clicking on the arrows, that helps me dive further into the topic, it'll actually go to my source and it'll start citing my source document. So tab 1, tab or section 2, the digital transformation. So it's actually citing only the source document that I am now trying to do a deep dive on. To go back to the studio, and I would unfortunately have to stop my screen share and share a tab instead, because the next thing I want to show you is the audio overview. So this is the one. So you should see my screen again, but now if I play the audio, it should show for you guys. Okay, so this is the one. So I've asked it to generate me an audio overview on this particular source document. Let's have a quick listen.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that really tries to cut through the noise.
Get straight to the insights.
Exactly. And today, look, we're diving into something pretty fascinating. It's the transformation at Old Mutual. You know, this financial services giant, 179 years old.
A real titan, been around forever.
Right. And they're making this huge leap into artificial intelligence. Pithing a company like that.
So just to pause it there, I literally clicked one button and it's generated this podcast review with 2 people discussing the source document for me. I can download this. I can share it with myself and listen to it while I'm in the car driving. But what I can also do is I can ask them a question.
Towards, well, AI-led insurance. Whoa, did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
Yeah, how's it, guys? So I just want to find out who are the top key people that I need to speak to within this organization.
How's it going? That is an excellent question.
Welcome, welcome. We love it when you chime in.
Understanding the key players is absolutely vital.
Like who actually pulls the levers, right?
Precisely. For a company this big, it's not a single person.
No way. Is the whole leadership team driving this?
At the very top, you've got Group CEO Yuri Strydom.
He's the one championing this whole AI-led mandate.
And then the Group CIO, May Govender.
She's the tech visionary. Oh, go for it.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Now, just what does their IT roadmap look like over the next 12 to 24 months?
That's a fantastic follow-up question, and it really gets to the heart of their strategy.
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road, right?
So their IT roadmap, especially for the next 12 to 24 months, is actually quite clear and methodical.
It's all about building on the foundations they've already laid.
Think of it in stages: cloud, then data.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause it there, and then I'm going to head back into sharing my entire window. But how impressive was that? And Google has had this for a couple of months now, the NotebookLM. And when we engage companies, there's always someone at a strategic level who always chimes in going like, I've been using NotebookLM. That's the reason we're having this video call with you guys and discussing Google's technologies. We're now seeing people who are moving over to Google Workspace, not for the magic of Workspace, which is magical in itself, but for the AI technologies that comes included with Google Workspace. And as Leon has said, it's not a paid for add-on. This is truly game-changing technologies. We've also had very high-level meetings with large customers in the financial space, in the retail space, in the production space. And one of the comments from the CEOs at the end of our presentation, going through Gemini, NotebookLM, Agent Space, Vertex AI, we go through all those technologies. And then he turns around to his board level and he says, what do you guys think of these technologies? And everyone is quite impressed. And it's like, how many of you are using some of these technologies? And a very uninspired few people put up their hands going like, oh, we're somewhat playing around with it. And then the final question he asked was, what do you think about competition using these technologies? Because I can guarantee you they are. And that was kind of making a very real point of, you can be a giant in an industry, but you're just waiting for the next Uber or the next Airbnb or the next startup company to come and blow the competition out of the water because they're using the latest tools at their disposal. I wish I had another hour with you guys, but you kind of get the idea of the difference between Gemini and what you would use it for, and the difference between Gemini and NotebookLM, and what you would use NotebookLM for versus what you would use Gemini for. So the last thing that I just want to show you guys as well, before I hand it back to Donovan, and then we're going to do some Q&A as well, is if you have a topic like, for instance, change management. We have a lot of resources on change management. So you can add a whole bunch of resources to it and then do exactly the same, but across a variety of resources, not just one particular resource. Because remember, the notebook that you are doing is a bunch of resources. The podcast that gets generated, the mind map that gets generated, it's not just on one resource. You can do it as in this example, you can do it across a whole bunch of resources. So I see you guys have asked a lot of questions in the Q&A. We thank you for those. We are now going to dive into those questions. I'm going to bring Donovan and Leon back into the video call. Then we're going to start discussing some of those questions. We're going to bounce it around whoever is the best person suited to answer that question. And then, yeah, please keep on asking the questions. Donovan is back. Let me stop my presenting. Donovan, I think you can just jump into a screen share from your side. But that is the end of the demo. I know there's also a survey that Deimos has put together. And if you guys can, you can either scan the QR code. We'll also drop a link in the chat if you want to click on the link. We'd very much appreciate you guys filling out the survey, giving us some feedback. It's also a great way to get Deimos to reach out to you guys. If you want to set up a separate session with just the guys from Deimos or the guys from Deimos and Google, bring them into a call and discuss your current needs, where you are. If you need to have a IT strategy put together in terms of exploring AI technologies, how do you get started? What should you be looking at? What's a bunch of use cases that might fit your particular industry?